There's grease in this joint. Hey y'all. Hey my loves. Hey. I am in traffic in motion on my way to go exercise my vocal cords. Me. But there's a message that was given to me today. In my quiet time with God, y'all know I talk to him like he's my BFF, because he is, and my homie, and he was just sitting right there chilling with me. Hey, Nang. But in my morning routine of, when you're a parent, you get up, you stumble around, you got sleep in your eye, you didn't put your eyebrows on yet, you're trying to get your life together, you don't know where your bra is. I don't care what you say, most of y'all don't know where your bra is before 7 a.m. I was trying to water my flowers that my father gave to me and my mother. It's really pretty pink flowers that I was absolutely in love with. I still am, and they're growing and blooming. They're pretty. But in my fumbling and bumbling, I happened to drop the water on the table, knock over the vase, make a whole mess, and I guess deflowered. I don't know if that's a word. One of the flowers. So I knocked the head of the rose off its stem. So I was like, oh wow, darn, I didn't mean to do that. And I was upset because I really love my flowers. My father knows how I feel about flowers. And so when it fell down and I looked at it, I picked it up and I put it in my hand. And God always makes me have these introspective moments where I'm like, why I gotta think so deeply? It's a flower petal. It's a flower head. Anybody else would have threw it away. So needless to say, I picked up the flower head, got a tissue, put it on the tissue like it was some wounded little poor soldier, and I'm like, but it's still so beautiful. I don't want to discard it. I don't want to throw it away. I don't want to throw it away. So when I was standing there in that moment, I just stopped. And God said to me, just because it's not what it used to be or where it used to be doesn't make it any less beautiful. And I was like, wow, that's deep. And I stared at the head of the rose, and I kept staring at it, looking at it. And I was like, wow, this flower head, this head of a rose stem is not any less beautiful than it was when it was sitting in my vase, standing tall, sitting on the edge of this long stem. So the message that, I have for somebody and myself today is, just because you're not at the post where you were, just because you're not in the position that you were in, just because you may have some scars, emotional, mental, physical, no matter what type of scars you may have at this particular moment, that does not mean that those things have negated your beauty. And I'm not just talking about physical beauty. I'm talking about emotional beauty. I'm talking about mental beauty. I'm talking about the beauty of who you are as a person and who God made you to be. Those things that happened to you did not negate your beauty. That fall did not negate how beautiful you really, truly are. Because makeup doesn't create beauty. It's the person on the inside. The soul that's on the inside of that body that's wearing the makeup or wearing the pretty clothes. Those pretty purses don't create beauty for an individual. Those pretty clothes don't create beauty for an individual. It is what is on the inside that makes whatever that is still beautiful. So when I picked up this rose, I put it on the tissue and I just stared at it. And all I kept hearing in my mind is, it's still beautiful. It's still beautiful, Nina. It's still beautiful. And I think that's a message for me and every other woman. And, there's beauty in men too. But that's a message for somebody. No matter what it was, you're still beautiful. You're still the beautiful being that you were when that thing, whatever it is, I don't know what it is, whatever it is happened to you. You might have lost your job. You might have lost a child. You might have lost someone you love. And you might have become depressed. You might have become anxiety ridden. You might have just fallen apart and not even look like your old self anymore. You might look in the mirror and not even recognize yourself anymore. But guess what? You're still beautiful. You are still as beautiful as you were the day you were born. And all of your innocence and all of your pureness and all of the truth that is you, you are still beautiful, just like you were the day that your mother looked at you. So I hope somebody receives that message tonight, because when I heard it earlier in my heart and in my mind, it really resonated with me. Just because you've taken a fall, that does not negate your beauty. The fall that you take does not negate your beauty. Again, I'll say it one more time. The fall that you take does not negate your beauty. Just like a flower that falls off its stem, the head of that flower is still extremely beautiful. The petals are still full of color and life. The scent of it is still there. The pollen that's on the inside is still strong. Just because you fell does not take away your beauty. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. And the reality is, when the flower head disconnects from the stem, it just has to find another source or find another way to bloom. I don't know what happens if you would take that flower head and put it in the dirt. I was willing to find out because that's how emotional I was. I'm like, but it's so pretty. I don't want to destroy it. I don't want to destroy it. But that's another message for somebody. No one can destroy anything but God. You could be disconnected from each and every single power source that you think that you're connected to, but nobody but God can destroy anything because he made everything. So even if you do take a fall and you feel disconnected from each and everybody that has ever helped you, any power source that you thought that you had, any power source that you thought that you were tapped into, nobody can take that away. No one. No one can negate your beauty, and no one can take away your power. No one. You are what God made, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and nobody can negate that and get rid of it. And if you feel like you've lost your power, that means you gave it away to somebody or something that had no authority in the first place. But that's my message for my car ride to rehearsal. I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you missed the beginning, go and watch the playback. I love you guys as always, and I appreciate you. You are amazing, absolutely amazing. And I hope you're having a happy holiday season, whatever your holiday season may be for you at this moment, religiously or otherwise. But go ahead and go back and watch the playback. But the message for tonight was, it's still beautiful. No matter how hard the fall, no matter how grave the fall may be, no matter how drastic it may be, no matter how deep the fall may be, it's still beautiful. You are, and nobody can change that. That's all I got for y'all tonight. I love y'all. Share this with someone who you feel as though needs to hear it or see it or listen to it or whatever the case may be. Spread the love. There's no point in us sharing these messages with each other if we're not willing to share them with somebody else. Okay? I love you guys. I love. I promise I do. I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all watching because it gives me a chance to pour into other people as God has asked me to. But y'all have a good night. Be safe. Again, someone asked me earlier. I wanted to drop this information. If you want to buy my book, you can purchase it from me directly. Shoot me an email, info@withlovefromnina.com. Or if you want to buy it from Amazon and you want to use all your fancy coupons and discounts and all of that, because I know we all have Amazon Prime, which is really cool. Go ahead on there and order it. The title of the book is With Love from Nina, Volume 1. Volume 2, I'm going to announce the date for that tomorrow. You'll be excited about the date. But I'm not looking at y'all because I'm driving. But Volume 1 is on Amazon.com. Share with your family and friends this holiday season. If you are in the Philadelphia area, Delaware, or Southern New Jersey, and you want to pick up a copy before Saturday or Sunday, and you want me to deliver it to you by hand, I can meet you somewhere and deliver it to you, because I do have copies on hand. I just have a few left, so if you want some and you're in the area, hit me up, and I can make sure you get a copy for yourself and for someone else for this holiday season. But again, watch the replay. I love you guys. The message is, no matter what the fall is, you're still beautiful. I don't care what it is. No matter what the fall is, no matter what the fallout is, no matter what the outcome was, you're still beautiful. And you're always going to be. And no one can take that from you. Remember, life is not perfect. It's purposed for greatness. Peace. I love y'all. Happy holidays.